Commander, es war ein langer Krieg. Es war ein harter Krieg. Ihr habt tapfer und stolz für euer Vaterland gekämpft. Seid eine besondere Truppe, die ineinander einen...
Hey everyone, Hydra here. This is the second issue of Bloodborne. I've waited quite a while to do this review for a couple of reasons. One, because I wanted people to go ahead and read it and have a chance to check it out before I ruined anything. I'd hate for my average 10 viewers and 80 subscribers to have anything spoiled. Another reason I waited so long on doing this is because while it's well written and well done, it genuinely confused me. I've read this probably 3 or 4 times now. This whole story is very confusing. I don't know what's really happening. It's like watching a movie, but only getting 10-minute sections at a time, and having to wait like multiple months to get your next section. So by the time you see the next portion, you've already forgotten what happened in the first one. So you're like basically having these memory flashbacks as you're reading it to remember what you saw last time, and that's coinciding with the flashbacks in the comic and what's currently happening. I'm willing to bet this is going to be an awesome trade. Right now it's kind of a confusing series of floppies though. And speaking of floppies in general, it really seems like everything nowadays is becoming a trade. So when you're buying just individual floppies, you're essentially paying for a chapter of a book. A book that would cost less if you purchased it as a complete book rather than if you bought it chapter per chapter. And the only thing you're really gaining by buying the floppies is a unique cover. You get to read that chapter early, and that's about it. I don't know where I'm really going with that, other than just pointing it out, and that it really, the more you think about it, the more it feels like you're getting ripped off. And I'm one to complain about like DLC and pay for content, but when you really break it down, I mean, that's essentially what comics is becoming. You're paying for a book chapter by chapter, and if you just had the patience to wait until it was over, because they're pretty much all going to trade now, you're actually going to save money. It's kind of sad when you think about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a quick review of this. Don't think I'll be giving a good indication of what this is about, to be completely honest. So this is written by Alice Cott. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that name wrong. Piotr Kowalski, Brad Simpson on colors, and Aditya Bitikar on lettering. Original game published by Sony Interactive Entertainment Incorporated, developed by From Software Inc. Great artwork in this. I really like it. Not that it's, mind-blowing. It's just very, very well fitting to the comic. And most of this is a lot of exposition and monologuing and whatnot as it kind of unravels the story. But basically, our main character is still trying to escort this child. These creatures are constantly demons or something, they're constantly trying to stop him. They're becoming more and more confident. In the first issue, we actually saw them die and then come back to life, showing that it's basically a game. I don't know if this person realizes that they keep dying and coming back. I believe they don't, and they're like having memories of it, so I'm sure they'll explain that at some point. Some really good fight scenes though. He happens to see this demonic looking creature with like snake heads instead of a normal head. Grabs his axe, sneaks up, kills the guy, pretty much one hits him. You're like, oh, right on, dude, it's going good. See that? Nice devastation. Turns to look at the kid like, hey, we're all saved, buddy, come on back. Kid points, and it turns out that was just a distraction from the real monster, which is a straight up Hydra. I should put little houses on his head and turn that into my new logo. The fight scene between that, we get a lot of this like interspersed memory happening. So like He's monologuing as he's fighting, and then it suddenly jumps to just like straight up inside his head, and then fighting straight inside the head, fighting in monologue straight inside the head. I don't know if they're suffering from some sort of amnesia, but they're having a very hard time remembering who said what in their past. Long and the short of it is, he basically destroys this Hydra, grabs the kid, and continues on their way to escape this place. But he was extremely damaged while fighting that big Hydra thing, so he just kind of blacks out and wakes up in the care of some woman. And that's when we find out that our main character is actually a girl. So, like I said before, I've never actually played Bloodborne, so I had to look it up to see if the original character was a female, just because I was curious. As far as I can tell, they are not. Maybe you can select a gender, though, but everything I was seeing, it looked like the main character was a man. So that's an interesting change. I'm guessing this is either not the exact same story as the game, or they've just made some changes to PC Police. I don't really care, though. I didn't know they were a girl up until this point, and apart from the slightly feminine eyes, there's really make nothing of it. So while she's feeling slightly better, she touches this, I don't even know what this is supposed to be. So this is some sort of gateway that brings her back to this cemetery where she goes to every time she dies, and she's discussing with this old man what happened. And then we go into like the old man's memory as she disappears back again. And this creature that's been hunting her through this whole thing is now back in this building with her. She flees it. One moment, please. Somebody was pulling in. Yeah, you know what? You should probably just read this, because my explanation of what happens here is not going to make any sense. The long and the short of it basically is, though, it is very good. It does have a lot of twists and turns, and it'll probably leave you confused. But I'm going to be completely honest. If you haven't been reading it, I'd probably wait for the trade. Either that or buy them all ahead of time and just wait to read them, because there's too much gap between each release, and honestly, it's kind of confusing. I enjoy it, though. Art's great. Check it out, guys. Hell Hydra, baby.